Welcome to Revenge Flame. Let's jump into today's story and don't forget to turn on the bell for more. She looked me dead in the eyes and said, "I don't love you anymore." No shouting. No tears. Just that one sentence that ended everything we'd built. I didn't beg. I didn't ask why. That night, while she slept in the same bed as a stranger, I packed my things quietly, the photo of our wedding, the ring she'd stopped wearing, and the dog she said was too much work. I left before sunrise, leaving behind nothing but silence. For the first time in years, I didn't text her good morning. And for the first time in years, I didn't care where she was. But here's the twist: months later, when I had started rebuilding my life in a new city, she started showing up again. Not in person at first. Fake accounts liking my posts. Random calls that hung up when I answered. Friends telling me she'd been asking about me like I was the one who walked out on her. She said she didn't love me anymore. So why is she following every step of the life she said she didn't want? What changed in her heart? Or what did she never expect I'd find after leaving? Hey everyone, welcome back to Revenge Flame, where real stories of heartbreak, betrayal, and karma come alive. If you've ever been lied to, left behind, or underestimated, this is the place where every emotion finds its voice. We don't just tell stories here, we feel them, we live them, and sometimes we even learn from them. So grab a seat, hit that subscribe button, and let's dive into today's story, because this one isn't just about love lost. It's about what happens when the one who left realizes what they truly lost. I've never been the dramatic type. I'm the kind of man who believes in fixing things quietly: a loose hinge, a broken promise, even a fading marriage. For years, I thought love was about patience, about waiting for the spark to come back instead of chasing it somewhere else. My wife, Claire, used to be my safe place. She laughed too loud at bad jokes, burned pancakes every Sunday, and kissed my forehead before I left for work. Somewhere along the way, that woman disappeared. The laughter turned into sighs, the touch into avoidance. And every time I asked what was wrong, she said, "Nothing. You're imagining it." We lived in a small coastal town, the kind where everyone knows when you sneeze, let alone when your marriage starts falling apart. I still took her to dinner every Friday, still brought flowers home, still believed love could be repaired. But maybe love isn't something you fix. Maybe it's something that walks away when you're not watching. And by the time I realized it, Claire was already gone, not physically yet, but emotionally miles away. It started small: the late nights, the turned-off phone, the perfume that wasn't hers lingering on her jacket. When I asked, she smiled and said, "You're getting paranoid." I wanted to believe her. I needed to believe her. But something inside me had already started to crack. She stopped sitting beside me on the couch. Her phone never left her hand, even in the shower. And when I'd walk into the room, she'd tilt the screen away as if my presence had become an intrusion. One night, I cooked her favorite meal, hoping to break the ice. She didn't even touch it. Just scrolled, laughed softly, and whispered, "He's so funny." I didn't ask who. I couldn't. If only I had checked sooner. If only I hadn't ignored the way she flinched when I touched her. The silence between us became unbearable, heavier than any argument. And then, one evening, without warning, she looked at me with empty eyes and said, "I don't love you anymore." No explanation. No tears. Just a final sentence that shattered everything I'd built my life around. I didn't know then that was only the beginning of her betrayal. Happened on a rainy Thursday fitting. Really, for the day my world finally collapsed. Claire was in the shower when her phone buzzed on the nightstand. Normally, I wouldn't have touched it. But something, instinct, desperation, made my hand move. The message preview said, "Last night was worth the risk. I miss you already." My stomach dropped. My hands went cold. I opened the thread, and there it was: weeks of messages, laughter, plans. The man wasn't a stranger. He was someone I knew. My coworker, Mark. The same guy who shook my hand at our anniversary dinner, telling me how lucky I was to have her. They had met behind my back for months in the same car I bought her, at the same cafe where we used to spend our weekends. When she stepped out of the shower and saw me holding her phone, she froze, then whispered, "I was going to tell you. No tears. No guilt. Just exhaustion, like I had interrupted something inconvenient." That was the moment something inside me broke, not just my heart, but my belief that love could ever be safe again. I didn't scream. I didn't throw her phone or demand answers. Instead, I smiled a small, unfamiliar curve that even surprised me. While she stood there waiting for me to explode, I walked past her and said, "Don't worry, Claire. You've made things very clear." That night, while she slept in the guest room, I stayed up calm, methodical, and colder than I'd ever been. I started saving everything. Screenshots of messages, call logs, even her fake work trips. I copied photos from her phone to a hidden drive, documenting every piece of evidence I'd need. I stopped talking, stopped reacting, stopped caring. But in silence, I was building something, not revenge out of anger, but justice built on truth. I found a new apartment under a different name, rerouted my salary, closed joint accounts one by one. Every click was a release, every signature a goodbye. By the time she realized what was happening, it would be too late. She thought she ended the story by saying she didn't love me, but I was only turning the page to the chapter where she'd finally understand what losing me really meant. A week later, I told Claire I was going on a business trip just like she used to. She didn't question it. She barely looked up from her phone. That was fine. I wanted her distracted. By the time I left, my new apartment was ready, the joint accounts were empty, and every trace of my income had vanished from her reach. She still thought she had control until the morning her car was repossessed and the landlord knocked, asking about her husband's half of the rent. Then came the real blow. I sent her boss, the same man who'd hired Mark, an anonymous folder containing proof of their affair during work hours. Within a day, both of them were suspended pending investigation. While her career crumbled, I quietly signed the lease to my new life, a beach apartment 2 cities away. Sunlight spilling across rooms that didn't hold her ghost. She texted me dozens of times, begging for an explanation. I didn't reply. For the first time in years, the silence was mine, not hers. And it never felt so peaceful. In the weeks that followed, I waited for the guilt to hit. It never did, just a strange quiet, the kind that follows a storm when the world finally stops spinning. Claire tried reaching out through every channel she could find. Long messages, voicemails, even a letter saying she'd made a mistake. But I didn't respond. There was nothing left to say. I saw a photo online weeks later, her alone in a coffee shop we once loved, staring at her phone like it might bring me back. It didn't. For once, I wasn't angry or broken. I was just free. Revenge didn't make me happy. It just gave me closure, the kind that comes when you stop chasing people who were never meant to stay. Sometimes peace isn't found in forgiveness. It's found in walking away without a word. In the end, I learned that revenge doesn't always roar sometimes. It whispers in the peace that follows. When someone breaks you, you don't have to shatter back. You can rebuild quietly, piece by piece, until the person they left behind no longer exists. Claire thought she took my happiness when she walked away, but all she really did was free me to find it somewhere else. Sometimes the best revenge isn't payback, it's peace. And the most powerful words you'll ever say to someone who betrayed you are none at all. What would you have done if the person you loved most became the one who hurt you the deepest? Would you fight to fix it? Or walk away in silence like I did? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Drop them in the comments below. And if this story hit a little too close to home, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Revenge Flame, where every broken heart finds its fire again. Until next time, remember, sometimes letting go is the revenge. See you in the next story.